For our next topic, we have gender identity. So, what is your identity in terms of your gender? This is your own perspective and your own understanding of what is your gender all about. An individual self-conception on being male or female based on his or her association with masculine or feminine gender roles. So, basically, ito yung tipo na pagkakaintindi mo kung ano ba talaga ang pagiging pagkababae at pagkalalaki. Kasi depende yan sa mga nakakasalamuha mo sa bahay, sa school, at the same time sa labas. Okay, sa bahay, ang mga masculine katulad ng kuya ko, matipuno, suplado, palautos. So that is my association of being a masculine. Tapos paglabas ko, bigla akong nalito. Kasi yung isang lalaki doon, lalaki siya pero nag-lipstick siya, nag-iipit siya ng buhok, nagsusuot siya ng eyeliner. Okay, so by combining those two, that would be your perception about masculinity. Okay, so gender identity. Yan, own personal understanding. So, we have our own different perspectives on how to identify or on how to see the different genders from feminine, masculine, lesbian, gay, queers, homophobia, homosexual, etc. Okay, so it is how you want the world to see you. Okay. For example, I want to show the world who I am through my actions and behaviors. Alam ko babae ako pero I'm into sports. So, medyo boyish ako. Okay? Ang sinusuot ko instead of skirt, I'm wearing shorts. 'Di ba? Instead of playing Barbie dolls, I like to play basketball, kaya volleyball, or taekwondo. Diba? So, it's how you want the world to understand you. Ayan. Respect begets respect. Pero, first and foremost, you have to respect yourself first before respecting anyone. Kasi, dun mo matututunan yung word na respect if you respect yourself first. Okay? Instead of making assumptions about how a person identifies, check in with the people you meet about their gender identity. So, bago tayo mag-judge ng isang tao kung bakla siya, kung tomboy siya, kung homophobia siya, kung homosexual siya, is we should better talk, ask, di ba? Observe the person first before we judge them and say it to other people, di ba? Kasi sometimes misjudging the way the persons behave may lead to misunderstanding. Okay? And we don't want that to happen as well. So we have respect gender pronouns, di ba? So for example, bakla siya, bading siya, di ba? Pero he wants to be addressed as the pronoun he pa din. Okay, so we must respect that. No? Like, he is still a boy. No? Kasi he wants to use the word he instead of saying she is a boy. No? Respecting oneself results to respecting other people's identity to avoid assumptions. Now let's have gender culture. So we have gender identity, your way of showing the world of who you are based on your understanding of your surroundings. For gender culture, it refers to the gender norms. So when we say norms, ito yung basis ng society. Okay? Ito yung nakagisnan. Ito yung nakasanayan ng ating society. So it refers to social and cultural attitudes, expectations about which behaviors, preferences, products, professions, or knowledges are appropriate for women, men, and gender diverse individuals. Like for women, most professions should be on the caregiving side. No, we have nurse, teacher, in terms of fashion, um, hospitality, di ba? Hotel, restaurant management, culinary. So, yun yung according sa culture natin because it is according to the norms. For the males, we have engineering, architecture, um, ano pa bang depende sa males? We also have yung mga trabaho na mabibigat, right? Being a scientist, being an astronaut. So that is the gender norm in terms of profession. Okay? We also have behaviors, no? So kapag babae, umiiyak. Kapag lalaki, unacceptable to cry in front of other people. Okay? Sometimes gender culture or norms results to stereotyping or gender stereotyping. Like, yun nga, yung crying in front of other people are for females. How about males? How can they show their emotions if they are not allowed to cry? So maraming examples ang gender culture. Hindi lang natin alam na example pala yun. These are actually examples of gender culture. Like for the first picture, di ba? Girls wearing skirt are very normal to the naked eyes because this is according to the norms. Pero you see here, a European man, di ba, wearing skirt, no? In the in other cultures, that is not according to the norms, no? And they might misjudge a man wearing a skirt, no? Like for example, in America, wearing skirt will symbolize you like a gay, right? Or can symbolize you as a bisexual. Diba? Pero for other European countries, wearing skirt is actually a thing. We also have in our Asian roots. Okay? So we have for Japanese, they have this one. No, the girl wearing like a sarong. And then we have the here's an Indian man wearing also a sarong, no? A skirt then, which is actually a normal thing for them. Wearing a skirt, a long dress pa nga minsan, di ba? You can see them in a long white dress for the males. And that is actually a norm to the Indian culture. Pero here in the Philippines, di ba? When you wear skirt, what will happen to you? You will be judged, no? You will be ashamed. Eh, paano kung yun talaga yung fashion sense mo? Whether you are a man or a woman, diba? In Japan, also in terms of their culture, ayan, yung mga kimonos nila, no? Dress for men and women is actually a normal thing. Pero they use that for culture. They don't wear it in public places. That is actually their traditional dress. Okay, so can you think of gender culture stereotyping for us here in the Philippines? 'Di ba? Haircut pa nga lang. Medyo ma-judge na agad because we are living in a judgmental country wherein kung ano yung masama or pangit sa'yo, yun yung na-highlight instead of looking the positive ones. Diba? Kahit sobrang bait mo na, yung negative pa rin ang makikita nila sa'yo in the way you act, the way you dress, and etc. Basta pag nagde-deviate na siya sa norm, you are a different person na nadjudge nila in terms of your gender role, gender behavior, and gender identity that will fall on gender culture. Next is we have gender expression. So we have gender identity, gender culture. Pangatlo is we have gender expression. So this is actually how a person will present himself to the public. For the gender identity, that is your knowledge about what to behave in the society. The gender culture is the gender according to the society. The expression now is your presentation or your behavior or your application of your gender towards the society. So appearances such as dress, hair, makeup, body language, and voice is actually part of gender expression. Okay, here we have different pictures here, diba? So if you are very familiar with them, you can actually identify their gender expressions based on the movies they portray in, their drama, their vlogs, and actually their videos as well, di ba? And it makes us who watch their movie, series, dramas, vlogs influence the way they express the gender on their characters. Parang si Bretman Rock, di ba? He knows himself that he is gay. Pero in terms of expressing his gender, nandun pa rin siya sa masculine, leaning towards the masculine expression. Diba? Like, yung muscle build up, the hair, the way he protects his sister, the way he loves his mother. Diba? So, medyo more on gender culture of masculinity pa rin. We also have Sinyana Guerrero. Okay, so the expression of expressing herself with the boyish attitude, diba? Na siguro na-adapt niya sa brother niya. The way she dances is swag, diba? Na hindi siya yung girly dance like the K-pop groups or other dancers who are females. Pero we don't know because she is just starting to explore. And the others, if you are very familiar with them, diba, we are being influenced on how they express the genders. Kaya sometimes we try to adopt their expression as well. So by adopting different gender expressions, we can make our own expression, our unique expression on how we express ourselves. Kasi yun naman di ba? A person will try to find out something about himself or herself by adopting someone, di ba? Kasi when you identify na, maganda tong trait na to, maganda itong trait na to, kunin ko, gawin kong akin, pero gawan ko siya ng uniqueness. Okay, so that is how we actually develop our expression. Pwede rin through with our families, someone we idolizes, someone we look up to, diba? So, that is gender expressions. Yan. How about this, cross-dressing? Ma'am, ang cross-dressing ba is actually part of gender expression or gender identity? Actually, na-raise siya noon. And cross-dressing is not a part of gender identity. Okay? It's actually a part of your expression on how you express your gender. Kasi pag sinabi natin gender identity, di ba? Yung mga lesbian, gays, homosexual, bisexual, and heterosexual, etc. Pero in terms of cross-dressing, that is your expression on how you dress. So the act of wearing items of clothing not commonly associated with one's sex, di ba? Like for the females, di ba? Ang daling i-adopt ng female or ng woman yung mga dresses ng lalaki. And hindi sila na-judged, di ba? Pero for males, mag-wear sila ng skirt, ng jumper, ng long dress, kahit lalaki pa din sila. They are being judged by the society because of the gender culture, right? Pero for the female, napaka-normal na magsuot na mga boyish outfit na you will not be judged as lesbian but you will be judged as, uy, ang cool, uy, ang awesome niya. Diba? So, cross-dressing has been used for purposes of disguise, comfort, and self-expression in modern times and throughout history, which is very adaptable as of right now. Okay, we have here two gender identity, transsexual and transgender. So, bakit nga ba siya napunta in terms of gender expression? Diba? Kasi this two identity is actually a powerful voice in terms of the expression. Kumbaga, expression is more on how you express, diba? The behavior and such. Pero in terms of these two identity kasi, they go beyond, diba? They go under surgery just to fulfill those expressions na, okay, I'm a female living in a man's body. So therefore, I must have a man's body. Okay, so ganun din tayo sa males, no? I'm a male trapped in a woman's body. Therefore, I must fulfill the goal of being in a woman's body. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga surgery. Ayan. So, transsexual, we have male to female or female to male. Okay? Ito na yung mga nag-undergo ng surgery in terms of their sexual characteristics. Like, nag-remove na sila ng sex organ nila, and then they are taking hormones for males, no? For female to male, they are taking testosterone for male and estrogen for female. For transgender, these are individuals who identify with the role that is the opposite of their biological sex. So for transgender, they are not fully having the body that they want. Okay, so nandun pa lang sila sa transition of being a transsexual. So yung role pa lang and yung identification of the opposite sex yung na-fulfill. Now, now we are finished with the genders concepts, no? So we have gender identity, gender culture, and gender expression. Now let's go to sexual orientation. So for sexual orientation, it is their emotional and sexual attraction to a particular sex. Okay, so dito na papasok yung ano ba talagang gusto ko? Who am I physically attracted to? Ako, babae ako, and I know I'm physically attracted to a man. Hindi natin alam yung iba. Na, for example, si Joy. Okay, so wala namang pangalang Joy, no? Okay, gawin na natin si Girl. She is physically attracted to the other girl. Diba? So that is your sexual orientation. Okay? Kung saan ka na-attract towards the opposite sex ba, towards the other sex, towards the other identities, that is actually your orientation. So this includes We have gay, lesbian, straight, bisexual, and asexual, which is actually under din ng gender identity. Okay? Pero ang emphasize ng sexual orientation ay emotional and sexual attraction. Kasi other gender identity, they don't have emotional and sexual attraction at all. Katulad ng we have asexual, diba? Asexual doesn't have sexual orientation. They are not emotionally or sexual attract. They are not having emotional and sexual attraction towards the other genders. So here, sexual orientation is about who you want to be with. Sino ba talaga gusto mong makasama? In terms of peers, in terms of loving someone, in terms of being in a relationship. So, kanino ka ba sasaya? Sa kanya ba? Sa ka-chat mo ba ngayon? Or sa ka-blockmate mo? While gender identity is about who you are. Okay, see the difference? No? And see also their relationship. Kasi meron namang ibang tomboy na still attracted. Meron tomboy or lesbian na still attracted to a man. Diba? So that is actually under bisexual na. Okay, so relationship of sexual orientation and gender identity. Okay, so there are a bunch of identities associated with sexual orientation. So we have the first one, people who are attracted to different gender. So example, women who are attracted to men, men attracted to women, and often call themselves straight or heterosexual or cisgender. So ito yung pinaka normal, no? And most especially according to the norm na female to male to female. Diba? Next is people who are attracted to people of the same gender often call themselves gay or homosexual. So ito yung male to male, female to female. Pangatlo, people who are attracted to both men and women often call themselves bisexual. So per bisexuals, no? For male, male female, for female, female male. Okay? Pero hindi 'yon magkasunod. Okay? Remember, sexual orientation is talking about emotional and sexual attraction. So hindi siya sabay, okay? So malalaman mo naman kung may emotional sexual attraction ka. Other bisexual having long-term relationship towards the opposite sex. No? Then pag na-heartbroken sila, they will go to the same sex naman. So, there. Next one is people whose attractions span across many different gender and they are called pansexual or queer. So, ito yung tinatawag nating pansexual group na, okay, I am attracted to a lesbian, I am attracted to a gay, I am attracted to straight man, I am attracted to straight female, I am attracted in bisexual. So, wala silang pinipili. They are across different genders. Basta na-in-love sila, they don't care about your gender identity. Diba? They accept you who you are. They accept you on how you express. Diba? Pansexual. Next, people who are unsure about their sexual orientation may call themselves questioning or curious. Okay, maraming ganito. They know for themselves identity that they are gay, pero yung attractiveness nila is hindi pa ganon kasapat or ka-justify if in love rin ba sila dun sa same sex nila. Okay, so question pa nila, parang they are in the verge of trial and error in terms of their sexual orientation. Next, people who don't experience any sexual attraction for anyone. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. So, their gender identity is asexual. diba? They don't have any gender, no? And they are considered no sexual attraction for anyone. Yan, we have sexual orientation for categories. Na-summarize lang siya in terms of their pictures and flags. So yan, asexuality, bisexuality, homosexuality, heterosexuality, and pansexual. So, what determines sexual orientation? Paano ko nga ba malalaman yung aking sexual orientation? Through exploration ba or hindi? Ito, may mga different categories naman or areas to consider with. So, most scientists agree that sexual orientation is the result of combination of environment, emotional, hormonal, and biological factors. You will not discover your sexual orientation unless hindi mo pa alam yung identity mo. Okay? It's actually building up din, no? Tumutulong yung environment natin kung paano tayo na-raise, kung ano yung nakagisnan natin in terms of attraction to someone else. 'Di ba? Kaya sometimes when we are in a relationship, tinitignan natin if kaugali niya ba yung parents natin? Kaugali niya ba yung ex natin? Or anything out of the blue, we always have comparisons. Emotional. Ilang percent ng emotion yung na-fulfill niya, right? Siyempre, sa unang stage of dating, di ba? 100% yan. Pero nasusustain niya ba? Okay? Hormonal. Okay? Ito ba yung may effect? Like blushing, butterflies in the stomach. Pag nakikita ko ba siya, nagagash yung face ko, nagre-red. Yung hindi mapakali yung chan ko. Okay? So, hormonal imbalances. And also biological factors. So, dito papasok yung your identity, perception about yourself. Next is we have homosexuality and bisexuality aren't caused by the way children were reared by parents or by something that happened to them when they were young. Okay? Kaya nga minsan, if other stories, diba, na if umamin yung anak nila na they are gay or lesbian, parang sobrang disappointment ng parents kasi feeling nila na um, nabigo ka nila in terms of knowing who you are. Diba? Pero that is not actually the reason. It just actually happened. Sabi nila in terms of genes, yes, pwede, no? Pwede genes, pero it just actually happened because you discover yourself, di ba? Kasi may iba-iba rin talaga tayong perception, pananaw sa buhay. Kaya malalaman at malalaman mo talaga kung sino ka, di ba? Just a snap of the finger, okay, ito ako. Just a snap of the finger, pwedeng magbago yun. Also, being homosexual or bisexual does not mean the person is mentally ill or abnormal in any way. Right? They may face burdens caused by other people's prejudice or misunderstandings. Napasok itong category na to because under psychiatric books, nung way back pa, homosexual and bisexual is under a disorder called gender dysphoria, wherein you are having a mental illness because you think you are trapped inside a man's body. Kasi kala mo babae ka. So that is actually a mental illness noon. Pero for now, hindi na siya categorized as mental illness because we can only consider someone who is mentally ill if wala na siyang hygiene, disoriented na siya, hindi mo na siya makausap, 'di ba? Ang homosexual and bisexual naman, they are very hygienic, 'di ba? And ang sarap nga nilang kausap in terms of expressing themselves. So next is, how do people know their sexual orientation? So first, scientific understanding, aware of their sexual orientation between middle childhood and early adolescence. So itong stage na to, I hope you are finished in identifying your orientation because you are now actually an emerging adult. So hindi na kayo early adolescents. You are emerging adult. Pero yun nga, because of lack of um, communication, no, and mingling with other people, nagkakaroon pa rin tayo ng self-identity questioning. And lalong-lalo na in terms of orientation. Ito example, someone may notice that their sexual thoughts and activities focus on people of the same sex or both sexes. So yun yung mga dreams natin, yung mga kung ano-anong pumapasok sa isip natin, daydreaming, night dreaming, okay? But it's possible to have fantasies or to be curious about people of the same sex without being homosexual or bisexual. I know, fantasies lang naman eh. Curiosity lang naman. Okay? And they may not pursue those attractions. Okay? Mom, what ifs, diba? That what ifs, diba? That sometimes we do that what ifs and we regret those consequences of our actions. Kaya nga, it's better just to fantasize things before exploring because of curiosity, no? Try to identify yourself first before going to an attraction with someone. Knowing yourself first is actually the first stage of loving someone else. Loving yourself first is actually the act of true love and selfless love. Yeah. Last question. Can sexual orientation be changed? So this is it for our discussion for Module 1. And thank you very much for listening.